and welcome to the Leckiju Lounge. This is your host Lex, and as my brother would always say, let's talk Capella. Woo woo! It's a season finale. It is a season finale of the Leckiju Lounge, and we will be starting a season 2. And I'm assuming that's going to be next week, but I never want to make any promises, but I think it should be next week. It's crazy to me. I put it on my calendar a little while ago about what the year anniversary would be, and we need to do something. Maybe on the episode next for the opening of a season 2, we'll do something exciting. I do have a possible exciting guest, but I'm not gonna get anyone's hopes up, not even mine, because I don't know about it. It might just be it might just not come to reality. Okay, so let's not get our hopes up, but I am hopeful a little bit. Today I'm speaking from the heart. Honestly, I have so many things that I've just wanted to talk about, and if I can remember them all, because I didn't make notes for today, then if I can remember them all, then we will get through them. Starting with just what's been going on with me recently is I have a really exciting news to and I did finally sign a contract to travel abroad over summer, and I'm super excited about that. And just because it's what I've always wanted. I've always wanted to travel, and I'm not going to give too many details yet until it gets closer to time, of course, but I'm just so excited about it. And yeah, I can't wait. It's literally my dream. It's literally my dream, and it's starting to come true. Now, yesterday, was that yesterday? No, yesterday was Monday. Okay. No, Sunday. Last Sunday, I'm all over the place. I did another ATL shooters event, and I've talked about it, the one that I went to on here before in January. It was so much fun. First one was so much fun, and the second one that I was going to, just because the vibes are good, and the first one I was like, if it's anything like that, then I'm in. I'm gonna have a great time, and I did. I will say I think I liked the first one more, just based on the venue, and maybe because it was newer and more people came. But this one was a lot of fun. However, it still it just fell short a little bit, but it was still so much fun. I took 3 looks and just modeled for 3 hours and took photos for 3 hours, and it's also my dream. It's so fun for me. So that's what's been going on in my life. Other than that, just been teaching and stuff, the normal gig, which I appreciate. And this week I'm teaching quite a bit because I am filling in for some people. This is a theater week, so a lot of my friends who are in the company, my brother included, who y'all know is doing a show this weekend. They're doing Wizard of Oz ballet. So if you are in Marietta or the Atlanta area this weekend, go see the Wizard of Oz at Jenny T. Anderson Theater. Not me plugging them. I always am, here to work. But yeah, so it's a cool show. It's a fun show. I think it's entertaining. I will be there all weekend, working my butt off, and just helping out and stuff like that, because I really do. That's just how I show my support. That's how I give back to the community and give back to the arts. Even though I work for the arts, what am I saying? I do. I work for the arts every week as a regular job. But what else has been going on is I'm excited for my ex is supposed to come in town next week, and I think it's going to be fun. Do I think it's problematic? Yes. Yes, I do, of course. But do I think that it will be fun? Yes, because I haven't seen him in a year and a half. And I'm just grateful because I really thought that it's someone that I would never see again. And I think I've even probably said that on here, on camera, that I never thought I would see him again. And it's very true. But just the fact that I might see him for a day is exciting. And I'm grateful, even if it is just one day, because that's more than I thought I was going to get otherwise. And I just think it'd be fun because there's not as much pressure to be there's not as much pressure to be a certain way anymore. And because it's been so long and we are friends still, we keep up, and I think it'll be just a nice time. So And I'll probably talk about that on the pod as well, in episodes to come, hopefully. So, it's been fun. Why am I yawning? Because, like, I'm not tired. Something that got me riled up last night when I was teaching was, so I have students all ages. I go from like 6 years old as my youngest to 22. So I have quite a wide range. Now, I was teaching my like 7-year-olds last night, and so many of them hadn't showed up. It was just me and 2 girls that showed up, okay? So I was chit-chatting with them a little bit because, we've got all this time. And I was chit-chatting with them, and somehow they were talking about makeup and how they love, one of them says she loves makeup and stuff. And I was like, oh, y'all love makeup? Like, we were just talking about it. And then, of course, the topic gets to, like, boys in makeup and stuff. And one of them goes, like, of course, I knew this was I knew it was going to go here. And I continued the conversation anyways. But one of them was like, boys don't wear makeup, or makeup's not for boys. And they were like, I think she said they look ugly in it. And I was like, dang. She said they look ugly, and I was like, that's crazy. And I was like, no, they don't. And of course, like, me being me, I am going to argue with it. And it's not to argue with a kid. It's really just me trying to, like, explain to them why that's not a weird thing and why it doesn't have to be. And this is such a topic for me, because it's not that I'm going to say, like, I'm not blaming their parents 100%. Like, do I think that their parents could help open their minds a little bit? Yes, but these parents themselves might not have open minds. But it's not even that I'm blaming them, because their parents might have never said anything about that. These norms is what TV and movies literally teach the kids without the parent having to say anything. And not only that, but them being around other kids, like, it's just, if one kid learns it, then their whole class might feel that way too, because they've been spreading that norm. It shouldn't be even called a norm anymore, but it's disgusting. And so, like, this kid, of course, like, it's not my place, but at the same time, like, just me being me, like, I can't just let my side of things be left unsaid, even to a 7-year-old. Do I know that this is a little crazy? Yes, but I don't care. Like, for me, I just explained to them, first of all, so we're in dance, so I told them, I said, well, how do you expect boys to perform in ballet? Do you think that they shouldn't wear makeup? Because they do, like, and they do character roles. You're going to be on stage, there's going to be lights, you have to do makeup still. And I said, y'all know my brother? Because my brother, they know him, he's in the show, they've seen him before. And I said, he's the Scarecrow, he's doing Scarecrow makeup, like. And so one of them, she was like, she tried to make it make sense, and she was like, yeah, but they can wear boy makeup. And I was like, and what's the difference? And of course they don't have an answer. Like, of course they don't know. I'm like, well, what's the difference? Like, makeup's for everybody. And then she tried to, like, do another thing of saying, like, well, they can't wear a lipstick. She was, like, specifying they can't, or they shouldn't wear a lipstick. And I was like, well, I don't really like lipstick personally, but so I know some guys who do. And they're just like, no, it's weird. And, like, they think it's funny, but, like, it's not. And obviously, I don't expect them to understand it 100%. I hope that someday that they will be like, oh, super chill with it, and think back and be like, yeah, I really didn't know when I was younger. But what's so sad is that some people will never grow up into that and, like, grow out of, I guess, the norms that they were raised in. Some people will never know anything outside of that. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how there are grown ass adults who are, like, 30s, 40s, 50s, talking about, like, and, like, thinking it's funny if a guy in a show or a guy in a movie wears makeup because it's, like, supposed to be funny. You've lost me. You've certainly lost me, and you've certainly lost the plot of this movie. Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I'm sorry, it's not for me. It's definitely not for me. But I thought about this topic because I'm like, I feel so strongly about it, and I do need to bring it up because these kids, like, it's not their fault. It's really not. It's sad. It's not their fault, but their parents and their TVs and media have taught them this way. And those kids are like, they're 7-year-olds in 2026, and it's still not clicking. It's still not clicking for them. But maybe the next generation will be a little bit more open-minded. But the truth is that there will be some, and there will be some that aren't. Just because, like, some kids, I would say, are forced into a more open mind just based on how their parents are. Like, say, I'm not just saying for LGBTQ whatever, but I'm saying, like, I always say it like I hate it, but like LGBTQ whatever is just my way of saying, like, if you're in the land of queer. Okay. I do not hate them, obviously. I'm a part of that, but I think if your parents are part of the LGBTQ community, then you're automatically, as a kid being raised by them, you're automatically like, the norms are gone. Your world is so much broader, and like the whole sense of everything. Like, it's not even just about like love and romance and things like that. There's so much that's opened up for most cases. But then the thing is there's people who I know who are my age, and I used to work with a lot of these people who are just like in my town that I live in, and I was like, they're never going to get out of this town. And I don't mean that in a way of like work. I mean just everything. Like, their parents met at a school in this town. They've been together since high school. Now you, being raised in this town, go to that same school, meet someone in high school, date them, marry them, have kids here. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. For me personally, I think it's a little bit strange. And I guess just because I can't get in that headspace, because that's not me, that's not my path. And I can't imagine that being a path that I wanted. That's why I don't get it. But for some people, that's it. And so if they do that, that's fine. But I'm like, when does it end? And that same thing happens with religion, and happens with political views, and happens with like personality traits. Like, that stuff gets passed down, and it's like no one in that situation is thinking for themselves, even in a romantic way, even in a way of like you meeting those people in high school. It's like, it's almost expected of you. And not to say that things haven't been expected of me, because trust me, they have, but you sometimes just have to be like, that's not for me. That's not for me. Sometimes you actually have to think for yourself, and sometimes you actually have to like go do something on your own and go try things on your own. I think it's very important. And here's my thing. Why can't I just speak? Like, can I actually just speak for a second? Because it's my podcast and I'm asking for permission to speak, but like, you don't have to have career goals. For instance, for me, I have career goals that drive me to do things on my own, and really drive me to like try things and put myself out there and want to travel and things like that. Has it always happened for me? No. But have I always tried? Yes. And is it starting to happen for me? Yes. Okay. And it doesn't have to be career based though. If this is like, this could be romance. If you don't feel like something's for you, then like, well, one, you could stay single for a bit, work on you. You don't have to have someone. Like, and that's coming from someone who really wants a relationship. Like, I really do. And right now I feel like I could, but also I don't go on dates. I don't go on dates just to go on dates. And I don't do it because I'm like, I'm not going to just like settle and just go and date someone to date them. And I think that happens a lot in those situations where it's expected of people. Therefore, they just pick someone at their high school to get close with, and they just spend time with them until it becomes like habitual. And I'm like, yes, I'm telling these people's stories. I don't know. There's probably a lot of genuine ones here. I also just think there's a lot that are fibs. So that's my take. And I just always have things that are driving me away from, I guess, more stable lifestyle. You know, when people say they settle down, I'm like, what is that term? What is settle down? Ew. First of all, ew. And I'm not gonna, like, I don't want to settle down in my life ever, because I'm like more drawn to things that are evolving. And I feel like most people should be, but I think it just comes from like fear and insecurity and wanting something that's stable. And what is stability what is stability to you? You watching this, what is stability to you? Like, cuz to me, I don't freaking know. Like, what is stability to me? Oh, gosh, that's a good question. Like, yes, I always like I want a job that's air quotes stable. Like I want a job and I want a relationship that would be stable, but what does that even mean? And I don't think people really know. Like in people's brains, they're settled down and stable family like image is sometimes more what they're chasing rather than an actual connection. And like what the hell is the point at that part? At that point, what is the point? Just because like for me, I always if I wanted a relationship and I've had a great relationship. Okay, that's the thing. I've had a great relationship that lasted for years and it's like that wasn't stable, but that's still something I wanted so much. And it didn't last forever, and I know it's not meant to last forever. At least I think. I'm pretty sure it's not meant to last forever. Obviously it ended, but like it's still something that was good. That's why I think that the idea of stability in a relationship is not people like have lost the plot with it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know how I got here. Personally, I don't know how I got to this relationship or conversation. Oh my God, I'm tripping. Maybe this is why I normally take notes. Then maybe this is why I normally follow my notes because what am I even saying right now? But what I'm talking about is people's image of stability. And a lot of people just have that idea of settling down and having a family and things like that. And like, what even is that? And I guess that's just because that's not something that I chase or crave or desire in life because so many great things are temporary and so many great things are meant to just be in your life for a certain amount of time. Like a city you live in, it's not going to be settling down for me because it's like I don't even know where I would begin to think to settle down in a city, a town, or anywhere. Like I can't even imagine that. And I did actually hear this from another podcast I listened to saying that like they could never, like this was someone I think who just turned 30. They were saying that they could never picture themselves in their old age until now that they're 30. And now they can picture themselves like growing old, but before that they couldn't. And I feel similarly to that. Like I don't see myself growing that old. And I'm not saying that old as in 30. I'm saying like old, like up in there, like 70s, 80s. And even 60s. I can't see that for me, low key. But they said that it's very common in gay people. I don't know what that study is. Maybe I need to do some research on that study because like I guess it says something a little bit. Actually, it says a lot about gay people in general and how they feel about life, how they feel about their culture and like where that goes. And I think it is kind of hard to picture myself personally at an old age. And so when I talk about living a short life though, like I don't talk about it in negative terms at all. And some people are uncomfortable with that and they say like, no, like you have to live. And it's like, I mean, yes, but also I don't. And I have more to say on this topic, especially because I watched a movie last night. But we're going to continue that after the break. I need a drink of water. Okay, so welcome back. This movie that I wanted to talk about was actually a movie that I have seen, but I believe I saw it when it came out in 2020 or maybe like the year after. It's called All My Life, I believe. All My Life, and it stars I don't know the girl's name. The guy is Harry Shum Jr. If you don't know, that's Mike Chang from Glee. At least that's what I knew him as when I watched it. He's been on other things like Grey's Anatomy and something else. But I remember watching this movie forever ago by myself, and then my parents were watching it and I just caught the end of it. Basically the guy, Mike Chang, I think his name is, oh my God, I don't remember. Harry Shum Jr.'s character is sick. He has cancer and he gets in a relationship with this girl, and it's basically just about, not to spoil it for you, it's based on a true story, by the way, but which makes it sadder, but he doesn't want to like put her through everything and just like a relationship in general, because they kind of know where this is going. And then they do ended up getting married because like that's something that he wanted and they wanted. So they ended up getting married, have a beautiful wedding, and then soon after he passes away because cancer has spread. And it's just like, it's kind of an abrupt ending, I will say, but that's kind of like, I'm not going to go and say this super deep of this is what the director saw and this was the vision, but you know, part of that abrupt ending could have been like, it leaves you wanting more, and they were left wanting more of a life together. Oh my God, that's so sad. That's so sad. Oh my God. It really is a sad story, but it got me thinking, like, y'all know I'm always talking about YOLO. I had an episode, maybe 2 episodes back, talking about YOLO as a concept and as a lifestyle. I don't know why when I say it, I go YOLO. Like, that's what I sound like to myself in this monitor, YOLO. But anyways, I digress. The whole idea of the movie was that you have to live your life as if it's your last day. Like, or time is limited here. And like, I can't go on and on about this again just because I have talked about it so much, but I do feel so strongly that you do have to live your life to its fullest. And I know that we can't just do that. We can't just leave and go do whatever we want as if we're going to die. But it's like, think about it for a second. You could. And since you feel like you're in a position where you can't do that because of life in general, but jobs and responsibilities and things like that, yes, I understand that. But if it's like, you have to implement something that's going to make you feel like you're really doing it. You're really living to your fullest. For me, that is literally like, this podcast is part of that. And that's why I do it. Does that make sense? Like, do you understand? Because for me, this is an outlet of expression. And so for me, I've gotten quite lucky with finding a job, well, several jobs, but like a dance teaching job where it's like, yes, it's work and there's so many things that are hard and taxing about the work, and physically and mentally and emotionally. However, it's the good part, the best part about it. Obviously there's lots of good parts, like meeting kids and having a connection with kids, and but the best part is you're getting to create art, and that again is for me an outlet, and it's something that will be left behind if I were to get cut off. And yes, we're talking about death every single podcast episode. I'm sorry, but we're going to end up talking about death and the end of your life every single episode. Sorry, but also you're welcome. Sorry, I just had to cut there because someone came home and I had to go say something. But no, basically it was probably a good cutoff because I do need to wrap up on that topic and just finish out with live your life and find something that is making you happy, and find your outlets. For me, like, content creation is an outlet. Dance and working in art is an outlet, and modeling is my dream. So it's like, I want to do it until my last days, at least as of now. And same with content creation. So there's that. And so much more. Modeling for me lately has been fun. I mean, this weekend was a very fun event, and it is just like another great experience to be a reminder of what I want to do with my life, just things like that. And another reason I went, this is kind of funny because my last episode was about bullying, right? And if you haven't watched it, please go check it out. It's very funny. And my brother and I talked about all things. The first topic I talked about was bullying online, because I had been facing a lot of that recently. And after that video, like, after we talked it out, I got so much more, not even about that, but just like other things I posted. For some reason, I got so much more bullying, like, in my comments. And I was like, I just made a video about this, as if that was supposed to end it, but like it was kind of shocking because it just like there was so much more, and I was like, where did these people get off? And it's just been kind of bad lately, and so it was very bad on last Saturday. Oh my god, the sun came out. So it was really bad on Saturday, and that event was on Sunday, and I was like, you know what, I really need to go to this event because like I said, the vibes are good, but also people will really hype you up at those events, whether it be photographers or other models. Like they just really hype you up, and it felt so great the first time, so I was like, I kind of need this right now. And although that might sound pick me, that's fine. I'm comfortable with that sounding pick me, but sometimes you just have to surround yourself with people that you boost you up. And how many times have I said that? It's a big part of my message, but I think that you need that sometimes because we're all human, and sometimes just hearing some kind words and some affirmations actually do help. So like the power of words, same in the hate comments, like the power of words is actually so crazy, and the way that it can just like change your day and make you feel so much worse or make you feel so much better. That's actually crazy. Now a random topic that I have also wanted to talk about, and this is not important to everyone. This doesn't resonate with everyone, but it does resonate with me. And this is my podcast, and this is a season finale, so I do need to talk about it. Not just ATs. No, that's too easy. Choisan, that's a topic. Son is everything to me. And lately I've really noticed just like him, I've noticed him lately. He's so amazing, and like obviously so talented and everything like that, but he's actually so physically perfect. Like, and it needs to be talked about because he is like, no one has ever been that beautiful before in my opinion. It's my opinion. It is. And I used to feel that way about like Ross Lynch, for example, for years and years. Like I think his reign of being my main celebrity crush was 4 years. And now Son has wait, was it 4? No, it wasn't 4 years. Wait, it couldn't have been 4 years. I think I'm mistaking in my brain the number 400 for how many pins was in his Pinterest board, because Ross Lynch did have 400 pins in his Pinterest board. And what? ATs and Son have way surpassed that. Son's in the thousands, guarantee. But yeah, I mean, as far as like big celebrity crushes, I think that Ross Lynch's reign was from 2020, summer of 2020, and it would have been until 2022. Not even 2 years. Felt like forever. But I mean, you can kind of give it to him for 2 years, but almost 2 years. Son is now at 4 years. That's our 4-year king. And so it's like, there's something so beautiful about finding a new celebrity crush. It's kind of like finding a new favorite song or a new favorite movie. It's just like, it's so major. And it's not major to everybody, but to me it is, because y'all know how I feel about celebrity crushes in general. And when you get a new one, when you find someone, you're like, how did this person somehow in days surpass everyone I've ever seen before? It's crazy. It's crazy. And me at my big age of 20, I still treat it like it still runs my life somehow. I was just telling my brother, I was like, isn't it wrong and isn't it crazy that someone who doesn't know who you are can run your life, like run a whole percentage of your life where you're just thinking about them ongoing? Isn't that actually messed up? Like, and that's how many K-pop stans can relate to me on that. It's crazy. It's not right. It's evil. The industry's evil for that. But it is so true. That's what's so true to me. Caleb Heron, thank you so much. And so that got us talking, my brother and I, about making these whenever we were younger in school, homeschool, of course. We did these worksheets, and I want to say that this was like a Valentine's special type thing. It was a page that had heart on it. And I believe, I don't know if it was different colors, but I remember it had different shapes and compartments and things like that. And the thing was to write like different things in each segment, like things that are in your heart and things you love at the time. And like something about that is actually so fun. So my brother and I was saying like we should do that. He was saying we should do it. And we are probably going to, because that's what we use our spare time for, is silly things like that, like paper games. But it is a fun exercise, and it's similar to like doing a brain one and what's on your brain. And I just think it'd be fun. So maybe that's your assignment, your homework from today's episode, is to print out a picture of a heart or draw one if you're good at drawing. And then you can make different compartments in different shapes, I guess however much space you want things to take up, and then write things in there. I think it's a cute exercise. And it shows, it's kind of like visualizing what really you prioritize in your life and visualizing what actually matters in your life. And that's what, you can make more time for if you need to. Because there might be something you discover, you're like, that is something that I love so much. Why don't I do that more? Or why don't I make more time for that? And then do it. Make more time for it, right? But at least that's how my brain works, because I prioritize the things that I love. And some people don't do that. And I think we need to get more on that grind, especially this year, especially going into season 2. Just like, because some people might see like, oh, those things you love, but like they can be in small quantities, and we're gonna prioritize the things that are in the brain. If I have a drawing of my brain and a drawing of my heart, which things am I prioritizing? The things on my heart. The things on my heart. That's just how I am, though. Not everyone's like that, and I guess that's fine, but I think it's a pretty cool lifestyle to live by the heart. So yeah, speaking of season 2, you guys have to be there. You have to be there. I'm going to start a second playlist on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, that's going to be season 2. And then I'm going to, on Spotify, it like lets you choose season. So I'm going to start putting season 2 on that. And period. I guess we're going to restart the numbers. No. I don't know how that works. I'm going to have to figure that out. But if you want to follow me along on this journey, you can go in the link tree in my bio, and you can find my Instagrams. I have 2 accounts, at Leckiju and at Leckiju.kpop. You can find my TikTok at Leckiju212, and really anything else I'm on, it will be in there, trust. And then, yes, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Subscribe on my Spotify and my YouTube, please, and thank you. And turn on post notifications. I post every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And hopefully I can do another fun, cool, even cooler, even more fun year of this podcast of the Leckiju Lounge. So, thank you so much. This has been the Leckiju Lounge. Bye.